Morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, October 19th. This is the CAPN office hours. As always, this meeting is recorded and posted to YouTube, so don't say anything you wouldn't want posted to the entire world. Other than that, let's get started. We don't have much of an agenda, but we do have a bunch of talking points to go through.
Yeah, yeah, maybe we can. But first thing is the thing. Lucas jump up. I know. So I don't know how they resolve the compatibility, but he said he will release it Q4. So I think I'm going to either drop that PR or just say in general, say this is just a similar idea to implementations and tell you the truth. The implementation is one N to one mapping versus N to N mapping. So that's it. So both may work. I don't know how they resolve that conflict. Actually, I thought it could be doable, but can be complicated. Anyway, they said that they can resolve the conflict. I would just say both are in production and just choose whatever you want. I don't know what else to say, or either I don't even mention it.
Yeah, I was reviewing the feedback as well and trying to figure out exactly what we want to call out. Potentially, potentially we just want to drop that so we don't have to maintain like differences across the board. It just is frustrating and hard for us as we go and talk about these things, and then people basically come to it and like, what's the difference here? And you're like, all right, let me repeat this over and over again. Yeah, I don't know how to reconcile that ask. Yeah, I believe you might be frozen. Or is it me?
I think you are okay.
Okay. Cool. All right. Let's move on for a second and we'll come back to that if Faye jumps on. Charles, I probably still owe you some reviews, I think, or where are we on that on your on the KCP, or sorry, yeah, the KCP implementation or the KubeADM implementation?
Yeah.
Are we in a good place?
Yeah, we are in a good place. So last time there is a developer come up with a concern, like if we use single controller and to create manifest for all the nested control plan and store all these manifests in one directory, that can be a mess, right? So I asked some question on the KubeAdmin channel, and they suggest that I can use command option root file system, root fs, and then I can move all these different cluster nested control plan manifested to different directory. And yeah, I'm working on this. It looks like it works. It looks like it works locally in a container, but why? I have no idea why it does not work in a Kubernetes. So right now I'm debugging, but I think that's the last step left, and I don't see any block. Maybe just some configuration things. Yeah, I think this can be fixed maybe this morning, and then I think this PR should be ready to be merged. I know this one had been stuck for more than 1 month. So yeah, let's try to.
You were all good on timing. I know you've also, like, we've all got other things going on too. So you're good on timing, no pressure. So do you want to, I know at one point we talked about merging this pull request and then doing that as a fast follow. Now that you're close to it, do you want to keep this PR open and then we can merge that once you get the rootfs stuff in, or do you want to still merge this and then we can layer that on as we go?
Oh, so I'm working on the rootfs things, and I think it can be fixed quite maybe this morning, maybe. So I think we should wait. Like I will ping you today once this thing is finished, and then I think this PR should be good to go.
Fantastic. That sounds good. And so this will basically mean that we won't have any conflicts if there's two clusters created at the same time. There's two different root FSUs. Okay, perfect. That's great. Nice work. Okay. Also, there's a couple other pull requests that I would love folks' eyes on if they haven't already looked through these. So things like using the kubelet client cert CN, because the VNH expects that for kubectl exec. I know I haven't gotten a chance to review that yet. Faye, you might have already. I think you actually sent me a message about this directly.
Yeah.
That we basically need the
Yeah, we
client
need,
certs. Yeah.
we need to talk about that, but okay. Let me see.
For those that are interested, there's basically this open pull request. There's an open pull request number 223 in there. And it's basically just our certs from the CAPN provider, just making sure that we actually have the right client certs generated, and the common name is actually the namespace is what it looks like we changed in here.
No, here, the thing is, there is a tweak. So I ask you because, okay, before we jump this, how can we finish the VC stuff, the V cluster stuff? So I don't know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
So what should we do? So should we say that or not? I don't know. I don't have a similar experience for projects that are deal with the same problem with very similar. There are so many OPA or whatever kernel kind of policy stuff. I mean, for projects deal with the similar thing. Should we describe the similarity in GitHub or?
I think we're going to be always chasing other products here, or other products and projects here, and maybe we just don't do this. Like maybe it makes sense to leave it out, even though when we talk about this, there's always going to be the question, what is the difference between vCluster and virtual cluster? It seems like having this in here is going to create something that is just going to become legacy quickly based on their release cycle and our release cycle over time. That's like that's my only concern about having this documented in Git.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm also thinking about it. So if you all agree with that, just same interface two implementations, there is no API compatibility issues, and probably there's no point to speak it up because it doesn't make any good. It's just like two group people doing the same thing, and for whatever reason, these two implementations cannot be merged. So that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's still differences in here. Like as we've looked at the code bases, I mean, even in the comments that are in that pull request, there are definitely differences. Things like K3S, things like they can't scale out the control plane the same exact way that we can, where we can sort of scale out each individual component depending on what the client needs. I mean, K3S in general brings on.
Yeah, because it said they follow Thinker thing, so they can default this is KPN stuff. So we are talking about the virtual cluster and they are Thinker. So
true.
From that perspective, so my biggest doubt was that I don't know, I didn't fully scan with it. They said they can resolve the NT1 mapping, any problem that resolved. I don't see the code, so I don't know how they resolve it. But since they claim they can do that, I definitely that sentence. So okay, they can be compatible. Then there is no point to
yeah. So maybe we just don't. We just
I can just
this. Yeah.
Just close it actually.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just documenting that conversation so we have it in the Google Doc.
This I don't know how I haven't made that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I got some questions, in OpenYard.
Yeah.
In OpenYard, there's the thing called super edge. This is another object very similar to OpenYard. So we timely get questions what's the difference between these two. So, but the problem is these two projects are originally the same, but we come up with slightly different features. So that's we can come explain from feature wise. But these two things, vClass and VC, there is only feature which is synchronized objects. So I don't know how to differentiate from feature wise. I can say we support multiple superclusters. I don't know how they can easily support multiple superclusters. In my opinion, maybe not. They can be, that model cannot be easily extended to support multiple superclusters. But I don't think I can claim it because I'm kind of biased or opinionated. They can claim that we have a plan to support a multi-cluster and it will be shifted next year Q1. So then I need to shut up, right?
Yeah, I think that's basically where we need to. I think we just have to continue on working on our project. They'll continue work on their project. Maybe eventually we'll have some alignment. I know there was a couple folks from Apple side of things that were at KubeCon last week, and multiple people had reached back out to me and said, hey, I had a bunch of conversations with folks from Loft, and we were talking about potentially getting together. And so I tried to push, similar to what we did with the multi-tenancy group a couple many months back. I basically said, hey, we've got a 10 a.m. call every Tuesday. If anybody wants to have like an open conversation about how we can, align these things, figure out how we can share code, do something better, and actually work together, we would absolutely love it. Just from a collaboration standpoint. And so that was kind of where, after all of those conversations, I wanted to bring everybody in and make sure that if we're writing differences, that we get their feedback.
I think the point is, they are a startup, they're selling the service. So if you don't want to play service, you just want software, there's no point. If you want a service, there is a point. You know what I'm saying? If you just need a software, so you can explain them, so they're the same thing.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll basically just leave this alone, close this pull request, and kind of just move forward. We'll just continue to communicate it as we present about this project.
Okay, so everybody make this. We need to have a consensus. Okay, the way that we need to talk about it is just it's another implementation. Resolve the same.
I think the big thing that we can always point to is like it's K3S versus an actual Kube API server and etcd and controller manager.
Lucas said they will extend to support native Kubernetes in the next release. So you cannot. I mean, you cannot point.
We can't even say that then.
We cannot even mention that. It's not difficult for them. Think about that.
Yeah. I plan to add this to the vCluster itself. I think some of the differences over time will be. Yeah, I kind of wanted to stay out of the game of comparing, and we'll just talk about it as we know. Like, we're all going to have different things, and we're going to have to evolve that over time. And it's not going to be something that we can have set in stone out of one single meeting. I think it's like, in essence, what I'm getting at here, or what I'm parsing here.
So yeah, what I'm saying is just user interface same. Everybody get an API server. I mean, implementation different.
Mm-hmm.
Whether to judge which one is better, I don't think we can judge that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, we choose somebody else and a third-party guys to judge which architecture is better.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I mean, I think we're at a no op there. So, right.
I'm going to close it then. That's
okay. Cool.
I'm okay. It's good for them to jump up to tell us, what's the progress. Otherwise, I mean, it has been 6 months since last meeting in the SIG. So I didn't realize they had a way to resolve that mapping stuff. And anyway.
Yeah. Let's I'll poke and see if we can also get them. I'm gonna poke on this pull request as well and just ask Lucas to come do the next one of these things and see if we can talk about it. It'd be great to hear what their latest strategy is and what their plan is. So we all are at least well versed on the different solutions in this space, because we can talk about what the multi-cluster looks like and what we're doing there, and see if they're planning on doing some multi-cluster work. Let's figure out if there's ways that we can collaborate somewhere in here. It doesn't, like, I know that they're an actual product, but there doesn't.
Maybe
there's no reason why why we can't all work on something together. This is open source at the end of the day, so
we can make consensus saying our shift is not in the single part. Our shift is moving to multi-cluster part to extend the scope. I mean, that is past tense, so we don't want to argue about that anymore. So if they want to do multi-cluster, then that's okay. If they don't, I mean, we just think what we do.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Also, I missed this. Deepak, I think you are new to this meeting. If you'd like to as well, we usually open it up for folks to introduce themselves. No pressure though. If you would like to stay quiet, you're happy to have you in our meeting, of course.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Deepak. I work for SpectroCloud, and Jun, the PR we were discussing. So Jun is my senior. So we are.
Oh, fantastic.
So I was just joining and taking a look at how nested providers was implemented, and we're just trying to take a feel.
Awesome. Well, yeah. thank you for joining. We always love seeing new folks. Yeah, excited to hear about what you all are doing and the interest level and
So which
yeah,
which PR? Let me take a look at that.
2223, the exec one that talks about the CN for kubelet. Faye, I think got stuck again. I think June also had posted a question into CapN yesterday that we haven't gotten back to about the common spec stuff. So we'll get back to him about that. Yeah, again, thanks for joining, Deepak. Always happy to have new folks. While we wait for Faye to come back, so the CN work is basically that with CapN currently, we're basically not able to actually route through to do exec through kubelets. Is that what you all are seeing, Deepak?
I'm not aware about the implementation or the change that he.
Okay. All right, cool. I think there's a thing that Faye was calling out. So let's see when he jumps back in here, if we can talk through that. I assume this is Charles, you probably actually worked with this as well when the original VC manager bring up for the actual client search. Did you notice that you had to specify the common name as being the namespace of the control plane that it was deployed into? Hey, Faye, you're back. I think you also were talking about this too.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh,
I
Faye, you're
specified
muted.
the namespace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have horrible networking for some reason. So 2223. 223. Oh,
Yep.
okay. Oh, this one. Oh, I see this one. Okay. Common name. I think, yeah. So do we know the contents? I think I didn't review it. I think we probably should do that, as I said. So that's why I ask you, because how do you guys resolve the problem with VM agent? So
yeah, so our VN agent is different. As you and I are kind of chatting about it, our VN agent is a little bit different. We route through a service and we basically route straight through the Kube API server. So we still pass through the Kube API server as our actual.
No. So the point is VM agent. So whatever your proxy, you need to figure out the namespace in the supercluster, because the namespaces are different.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you do that? So we use the trick. So we in the proxy certification common name, we tell the tenant name, so we know the conversion. So every time you got a request, we know the conversion automatically.
Gotcha.
So
yeah. So we're not up to the latest. We're not up to CapN yet. So we're still behind. We're still using VC Manager right now. So if that's the case, then yeah, we definitely need to merge this pull request to resolve the issues with CapN. It sounds like that's okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, we can review this outside of the scope of this meeting then.
Yeah. So yeah, my point is this is okay for this one, but I don't know if you plan to. Do you have? If you handle all your certification by yourself, that's no problem. So we can do that, right? So if we have a certain manager, we have a certification come from different places saying that all the tenants and API server needs to come with a certification generated by other components. I don't know how do we deal with that. I don't know. So in practical, we cannot ask them to add a common name to the certification.
Right.
That's a bigger problem. I know for us, for upstream, it's okay.
Yeah. For internal usage and when you're not using not using these certs that are generated by this client, yeah, it does become a problem there. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point to keep in mind. We probably need we need to track that separately because we're not doing anything there yet since we're just using.
It is pretty difficult. So internally we do some very hacky way, but so don't think that's applicable for everybody. So
Yeah, and we don't want to make it so that the VN agent has an informer on all VC objects and
no,
has to
even
pay
with
attention to
informer,
that.
it's still difficult because we need identity. So if we don't have a cert, the only identity is the source IP.
Right, and
I
that's
tell
just
the guy that who submitted a PR. So another way is in each master CRD, you persist the generate API server IP. So now we agent scan the whole VC object to find, okay, which IP this VN belongs to, and find the namespace mapping. But this is pretty fragile in the sense that the source IP is not reliable. Every time you have an SNet, the source IP are the same.
Right.
It's just another workaround. So to work on the certificate, but there's no really good solution. At least I cannot think of. Maybe Chris, you guys can discuss to see if you have a better idea. So I'm a run out of idea to resolve this. So in upstream is okay with this change. Probably okay with this change.
okay. All right, yeah, this just aligns it with what VC Manager does. So we're at least getting to a working spec for the open source. Yeah, our current thing is we're actually looking at forking the VN agent and doing something a little bit different and using our actual identities to do MTLS between them. We're slightly looking at this at the VN agent because the way that we deploy it is as a deployment. We're actually thinking about deploying this as a per tenant control plane proxy. So each tenant control plane also gets a VN agent deployment, and then every control planes gets a specific VN agent that it routes through. So that we can do MTLS between those.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Which gives us a little bit different, but that uses our certs our own certificate
maybe
management.
you can use something different in the sense that because you can come up with a deployment, then you probably can find the mapping to the actually API server throughout something else like config map or
Exactly.
some other identities instead of IP and the cert.
Yeah.
Then you need to change the VN agent somehow, but that seems like a reliable solution other than that.
Yeah. Yeah, it just means that we waste a little bit more resources because we run a proxy for every single one, but at least it will technically work. So
yeah, Deepak, I'm going to check that PR. It seems reasonable, but I need to double check it. It should be namespace or
yeah, it's got namespace in the common name in there. But I'll let you review that. I think this is that's a good call out. I'll also file another issue for tracking what we really want to do here. And
Charles, please give a review. But because you were written the code before, so we need to double check. It should be namespace or something. It should be namespace. Is namespace enough? This namespace seems to be. Let me see. This is class. Oh, this is class namespace. I understand. Okay, this is the namespace with prefix, but we need to double check. So Charles, can you also take a look?
Yeah, sure.
So this is the PR that I was talking about you. So we need to persist the mapping in the certification common name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right. I will write up an issue for this. Thanks for bringing this all up. This is fantastic. And Charles, you're working on the KCP and implementation still, looking at other pull requests that we have open. I think that's it.
There's another question, I think, in the Slack channel. I think the same guy asked, they said the common spec, I think we get rid of that, right? So we don't do that part.
Yeah, we just need to get back to June about that because we're getting rid of that with what Charles is working on with the KCP integration, and then it's going to be known versions of kubeadm that we can run as how we'll version those through.
Yeah, I think we should make it clear. And can you give a reply? Did you?
Yeah, I can. I haven't yet. So, or Charles, if you want to, you can as well since you're working on that feature.
Okay, sure. I will check it out later.
Cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's in the Slack. Yeah. Cool. All right. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
No, not in this project. So maybe do you hear anything from KubeCon for this, or do you get any feedback? Or I think
Not
since
yet.
some of you guys go to the, did Waiting go to the conference?
Yes, I just kind of virtually attend.
Oh, virtually. So I think you have a few guys do in person, does it? No?
Yeah, in our group, yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was just lazy to travel.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't hear any crazy feedback or anything like that. Nothing specific from our talk as well. More just that the had about 5 people that reached out and said, "Hey, we were chatting with the Loft folks. Would love to get together."
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
What's the Loft folks doing? Is they are using our code or they are kind of similar?
No, so they have vCluster.
Okay.
If you go to like vcluster.sh, the domain, it's basically like virtual cluster on top of K3s.
Okay, so
And their syncer is 1-to-1 to a, so they map many namespaces into one supercluster namespace. Technically, you can like take this and deploy it into any control plane. So like our clusters right now, if you have a namespace in them, you can deploy vCluster into it without having to have admin privileges at all. It just doesn't give all of the same benefits. Well, there are benefits that are called out in a pull request that we are not going to actually merge into this project, but there are things that there are different as of today that might be changing in Loft's implementation. How to triage that properly. So
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, you can say from a user perspective, there's no the user experience is the same as our user experience, but just implementation are different.
cool, folks. All right. So a break.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks again. It was fantastic chatting with you all. I'll post this link in the agenda doc after it's uploaded to YouTube.
Okay.
See y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.